Coming from the Truspace, we ain't esoteric neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. What's good, y'all? My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Harith. Welcome back to Truspace.
Yup, and let's break down this new moon energy that we're all going to be hit with this new moon in Sagittarius. So, first off, how do you think that this transit, this new moon, is going to hit us all?
So we're gonna experience this new moon after Scorpio season, which is all about transformation. And depending on how we transform ourselves, that's gonna be the positive or the negative side of what we can experience on like Sagittarius season. Because Sagittarius season is all gonna be about the experiences that we've been through, that we did since that we started through Aries and things of that nature. And Aries was the beginning of the social the personal science, and then that took us to Cancer, the beginning of the social science, and then Cancer took us to Leo, and then Leo took us to Scorpio, and the Scorpio was the ending of the social science. So that's where we've seen the final accumulation of all our experiences, what we need to transform so we could move to Sagittarius, the mutable aspect of the fall season, to prepare us for the winter season, to see what type of moral system, what type of knowledge and wisdom that we need to take with us to the winter season. So this new moon is going to be us planting new seeds about how can we broaden our understanding about God, understand our vision and imagination, a wider spectrum, not be so direct about them, aggressive like Aries, or not be so fixated like Leo, try to create a shape or form and make it people look at it and things of that nature. Just start to create one and just extract the knowledge and wisdom behind it and understand the knowledge and things of that nature. So this is going to be very interesting. Yeah,
For sure. Aries, maybe they get the vision, but they don't even know what they're seeing. It's just like a feeling that they go over.
It's chase after it, it's done.
There's no solid image. Leo, there's a solid image, but it's just that image, and that's all they can see, and there's nothing else. Sag, on the other hand, is all the accumulated images, and it's what everybody's seeing, and how everybody feels, and it's like an amalgamation of all of that.
And sure. Also, that what makes them very wise, because if you could see what happens in the imagination realm before it happens in the earth realm, the physical materialization aspect of it, you could see things happen. What do Sagittarius say? I see. Why? Because they see the broader visions of everybody, so they see things before it happens. So they could have this broad understanding and consider it. They say Sagittarius, they're ruled by the the A portal, or whatever they call it, the galactic portal. So that gives them the understanding of that they rule Earth, since they
are you talking about Sagittarius A or something like that?
Yeah, Sagittarius A.
Center of the galaxy.
Yeah, so that almost gives them like a god complex.
Absolutely. And I also realized that that's another allegory that is attached, where we're talking about Osiris, representing the sun, and how he was broken up into 16 pieces. And then it's funny because he died, or out of his body came like an ear of corn. And Isis took the shit and made a tortilla. So he's like, "Oh no, Meester dead. Make a tortilla." But and this is in Egypt too. This is what's crazy. But look at the parallels with the Jesus story and how they eat the bread of Christ, and how they celebrate Christ on Christmas during the winter solstice after it's passing through Sagittarius. And the reason why I'm talking about Osiris in the 16th is because there's 16 local stars around the center of the galaxy. This is where I believe Sanskrit gets their 16 letters from, where West African tradition, they with cowrie shells. Their divination system, that consists of 16 cowrie
Oh,
shells.
the Ifa and things
The
of that nature.
Ifa.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, I see.
So this is what they're referring to. The center of the galaxy. Generally, so when Osiris is breaking down into 16 pieces, it's talking about the death and resurrection from the Jesus story. But it's crazy how the sacrament of eating the piece of bread literally goes back to Isis literally making a tortilla out of the thing, which is funny. But it makes sense. Look at that holy period, and why it's celebrated at that time once we're coming to the center of the galaxy. So you're right. It is a lot about like a holistic perspective or like a godlike perspective, and Sagittarius can get that. They're always talking about God or spirituality or trying to have a broader view, something foreign, you know. You know, if they're from an area, they never talk about the things from that area. They're talking about all the other things. It's like, what the fuck do you know about you have Egyptologists in fucking, you know, middle America, and it's like, what y'all niggas doing? That doesn't make any sense. But that's what Sag is like, you know. They're international, they're broad. Really has that perspective. Another thing which is interesting, I realized with Scorpio, ice is such a good representation for Scorpio, the frozen water. And it's crazy because water has crazy properties. It's the only substance that is lighter when it's frozen, which is interesting. Lighter because of the air pockets. And I started thinking, because air has that quality, the fish in the ocean, people don't, the fish life doesn't die because the ice races to the top, which allows a stable temperature to stay on the bottom, and the ice doesn't fall down and freeze the whole ocean. Everything dies because we would all die. But it's interesting because it creates a world that's kind of separated. And I'm like, yo, is this the underworld? Is this Hades? Is this where, you know, these references come from? And I'm like, after it's frozen, you can walk on the bitch, Sagittarius. I'm like, niggas can travel greater distances. They can cross. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. It's crazy. And if it's air pockets that keep the ice up, don't they say that Mercury is the only one who go in between the underworld and above freely? So maybe it's air pockets and water. That's how I was just thinking about those correspondences. But yeah, with the new moon, such a new like you're gonna feel like like expansive, especially coming off of Scorpio season. Especially, it's like a breath of fresh air, but you don't want to. It's like running onto the field. You've been, you know, constricted for a amount of time, and you see an open field, and you go and run. But you realize after maybe you realize that your eyes aren't adjusted yet, and you don't remember directions as well, and you're looking around and you're lost, or you're out of breath and you're so far from where you were. It's like, oh shit, where am I now? So I do recommend, you know, starting Sagittarius season, you know, with ease, really collecting information or looking at what's there for you, instead of jumping at what's first coming, because things are going to feel optimistic. Things are going to seem like they have potential, or things are going to seem like they're moving forward, but in what direction? You want to make sure you're heading into the right direction, expanding into the right areas, developing the right type of wisdom and knowledge that's actually going to serve you instead of delving into everything. So especially with this new moon, now is the time to set intention. Now is the time to really determine, sit down and think, instead of jumping for the first thing that comes. Where should I expand my energy? Where should I be directing my faith? On an emotional level too, what should you care about, you know, in terms of wisdom and expansion? But how do you feel about spirituality, regardless of religion? And that's one thing that people need to let go of, especially this Sag season. Try, you know, maybe you have a Christian friend or a Buddhist friend or a Muslim friend, and they're always talking about, you know, that, or they're like in it like that, and certain aspects of it, you know, jars you, or certain mindsets that come up. but you don't want to be in that state of being now. There's so much wisdom for you to collect and use. You really need an openness and optimisticness, and yes, granted, you don't want to expand into some nonsense, but you really need to be open to seeing what's right for you. It may not look, and that's why I said move slowly, because there may, due to the optimistic outlook of things and the idealism, Mercury and Venus are traveling together in Sag too. You may see a lot of things that look good, that seem good, that's optimistic, but don't have that gas in the end, and that path least traveled, the one that people don't really know about, that you're gonna maybe have to learn through more personal experience. That's a little, it's the dirt road that's untraveled. That may be the shortcut that gets you to the promised land. That may be what gets you to your destination. So you can't judge during, that was Libra season. Libra season was the time to judge, and maybe there'll be more times. Capricorn's waiting after to go and judge and critique and criticize. But now is really a time for opening up. Just like what Harith was saying. This is the fall season. We're closing in on the season of when we're supposed to let go. The season of shedding. The season of, letting go of what doesn't serve us. And that last phase of letting go of what doesn't serve us is looking at what will, coming into understanding of our experiences and what will serve us. And sometimes it's not always the good things, and a Sag doesn't understand it. Take it from a Sag moon. Sag does not always understand it. There's a lot of restless energy that we may be subjected to, a lot of idealism that we may be subjected to, which is fine. That's why Sagittarius will find themselves in the highest levels of positions, because they didn't close their perspective or their possibilities of what they could be. That's why Jay-Z's Hove, we literally call this guy Jehovah. We call this guy God, the God complex, Sagittarius, and he sits on that throne because he didn't believe that he couldn't reach there. He believed it so much that we believed it too. We started calling this nigga Hove. We call this nigga Jehovah. I don't think niggas realize we calling this nigga God, and then they go and walk into church on Sunday like everything's right, like they didn't just blasphemize listening to the blackout. What was it called? Yeah, the blackout on the way there. Like get out of here. But it's crazy. But it's the level of belief that he has, which is a crazy thing. Same thing with Andrew Tate, ultimate Sag, top G. Mm-hmm. Nobody comes up statistics. Oh, statistics. Let's figure out top G. Let's figure out who has the most stats, who makes the most money. We know he doesn't make the most money. We know maybe other people have the same amount of car, but he's top G. Why? Because he believes it. And then because off of that, where he directs his face, we all believe it too. So that's the potential Sag can have, but you can also see the downfalls. So for sure, a lot of new potentials coming up with this new moon, and a lot of new expansion of emotions that you've never felt before, or emotions that you felt before, but new layers of understanding. Love at a higher octave, happiness at a higher octave, sadness at a higher octave. Everything's going to be at a higher octave now. So you really have to take credence of where your faith and spiritual energy is going, and that's what's going to expand into your life.
Mm-hmm. And like this new moon in Sagittarius, the ruler of it, Jupiter and Neptune, is going to be in Pisces, so it's going to be squaring it, really making you experience some learning opportunities and see what type of work you need to do to get to what is in your subconscious mind. Sagittarius is almost like you're visualizing the experiencing and learning how to develop the moral system and the understanding how to go about it before you get there and things of that nature. But also we're going to be experiencing this heavy stellium too. It's going to be Mercury, Venus, and things of that nature. So you're going to be thinking heavily about Sagittarius energy and Venus too there. So you definitely want to plant the good seeds right there before you indulge too fast, before Sagittarius energy could consume you, especially like CJ was saying, with that recklessness and things of that nature. When you have so much visions presented to you, you could go too far with each of them and like want to consume all of them with that Jupiterian nature. Jupiter could be way worse than Venus in some way, shape, or form.
It would. Just a large level of it, for sure. Like my Sag problem is like I would see myself. I would go and start talking about something, and then realize to talk about it, I have to talk about this. And then to talk about this, I have to talk about this, and then now I got myself into a situation where it's an hour conversation, or it's a way more that's in my head that's trying to come out than actually can come out, and then maybe you'll start to sound reckless or delusional to a degree. Heavy Sag energy, niggas always trying to throw that at you until things manifest, and then it's different, aka Kanye Pisces moon and shit like that. But yeah, it's can really get away from you. That restlessness energy for sure. But yeah, let's see how this plays out on your individual level based off of where you have this new moon occurring within your chart. So if you have this new moon energy going on in your first house, your ascendant, how do you think this will hit them?
So you're definitely gonna take all what you learn in Scorpio season about your subconscious mind and how does it work and how does it affect your first house, your personality, your appearance, your self-development and things of that nature. And really that's the broader the understanding of yourself, since we're dealing with the first house. It could be very direct, and Sagittarius could be bring that very broad mutable nature of fire, which could mutate your understanding of who you are, and that could help you prepare for the full moon, which is going to happen in your 7th house, and it's going to help you become less aggressive, less direct, but add that wisdom and knowledge that is necessary from Sagittarius into that first house area.
Absolutely, and it makes a lot of sense, because coming from Scorpios in your 12th house, coming from dealing within that, a lot of things that get drummed up or tensions going into is your subconscious mind and the things that you're holding on to. So it's a whole type of cleaning, or at least a drugging up of things to the surface of vulnerabilities to certain emotions that you may not be giving credence to. So Sun going into your first house into Sag, it's like you have so much more wisdom now of yourself because of going through your subconscious mind, going through what was hidden. Now there's so much more knowledge of self, and maybe even freedom of self-expression. Now you can go into different avenues, maybe because you dealt with certain influences that you had that kept you in certain states of beings. Freeing that up, now you can see yourself in other people, and you have a broader perspective of individuality, and now it's not as rigid, if you get what I mean. You can identify with more people now because some of the energy has been cleared up. So with this new moon, set that intention, to be able to see the expansiveness that is your individuality, to be able to see yourself in other people, to integrate how other people see you and how you respond to other people into your personality, into a level of wisdom and knowledge. So now other people's perspective, other people's ways of seeing things adds to your knowledge of self. Someone else can go and fuck up or do something or whatever it is, and you get a lesson on your individuality. That's what it can be. So really set the intention for that. Otherwise, you'll be reckless with the individuality and thinking, I'm this, I'm 6'10", and you're really 5'8". Trust me, it can get like that. But there's real opportunity for you to expand how you feel about yourself and your personal interests. For sure. To grow more muscle too. With Ascendant, maybe you could grow your physical stature to a degree too. So this could be a good time to devote some time and energy into that as well. I think that would be for every person who has the Sun going through. Well, I guess it's a Sag thing. But still, whoever has the Sun going through their Ascendant, I feel there would be an essence of that, like a physical upgrade. But yeah, that's the first house. If you have it going through your first house. If you have it going through your second house, how do you think this will hit people?
So you guys are gonna be planting new emotional seed about how you guys could broaden your understanding about God, spirituality, but how you can utilize that when it comes to money, possession, practicality, stability, your foundation. How can you guys be wiser when it comes to the usage of money, which is gonna prepare you guys for the full moon is gonna happen in your eighth house, which could bring a lot of too much chatter and curiosity to your resources and the things that you keep behind the scene, which you may be against. This is why it's necessary to add some knowledge and wisdom into the way you use your basic money in possession, so you could see things ahead of times before things could build up to that realm of existence and things of that nature.
Absolutely, absolutely. A whole new way of feeling about your finances, the optimism around your finances, the expansion of your finances, and just like what you're saying, this can play out in a negative way where you're a little bit more frivolous with your things, and you want newer things, and you're expanding. Maybe you're paying for certain experiences or whatever it is. You might be wanting to experience more of your resources and get a little too reckless with that energy and end up, getting broke or using too much of your resources. But just like that, it's like an open hand or a closed hand. Somebody gave me this metaphor about money in business. People with a tight hand say money's in my hand. People who are holding it tight, no new money can come in. But the looser you are with it, aka your friend needs some money, or your family, or whatever it is, or whatever it takes shape and form into being, you have a little bit more of an open hand, money can also flow in. So take that into account. Not to have money just a hand out like this, or for any nigga to come and take it, but just have it a little bit looser. And then you'll realize, oh, wow, you can have more fun with your resources. You can be more optimistic. You can expand your values, what you feel that you can have, your opportunities, your ways of getting money. All of these things can expand and have new opportunities, new avenues, or you can get a little too reckless with them and spend what little you do have and not expand them, and take the opportunities to downgrade your self, your trust in people and your resources. So you really want to set the intention of being more optimistic and having more opportunities, a broader perspective of what value is and how you can utilize your resources, to not stay stuck in the same mentality. Oh, this wrench is just a wrench. This wrench could be a hammer. This wrench could be whatever the fuck it would serve better for you. So it puts you into more of that creative mindset where you're not stuck in the box thinking about your resources in a limited way anymore. So really set the attention for that, because that energy is up for grabs this new moon. Looking at the third house, how do you think this alignment will hit them?
So you guys gonna planting new seed comes to trying to develop a broader understanding where come in the way you guys go about communicating when it comes to your immediate surroundings with your siblings, co-workers, when it comes to understanding short distance travel, and learn how to maybe develop, so add some God and spirituality into these things and make them not so mundane and boring, since that deals with Gemini energy. It could be very Mercurian, and it could prevent the expansion that's needed, that Sagittarius could bring in with knowledge and wisdom, and really expand the informations that Geminis got from short distance travel. But that short distance travel needs to accumulate to what becomes long distance travel, Sagittarius basically.
Absolutely. I see with this alignment with Sag, third house, or Jupiter in Gemini mostly, where you would attach a lot of meaning to meaningless things or to small things. And that can be so detrimental, because all of these insignificant, small, detailed things mean so much. And it can really take a toll. That's Jupiter and Gemini. That sounds like mental health problems or issues, really, with a jumbled mind. Same thing with Sag in the third house, really having a jumbled mind. But taking the flip side of that, with little things having meaning, you can find meaning in the little things. So just like what you were saying, it can lead to you in overinflating your surroundings, overinflating, the smaller trips, and overinflating the type of knowledge and wisdom that you can get, making you think that because you experience that most of the time, that's what it is, and now you don't expand as far because your area expansion is into your surroundings. And if you just think that you are limited to your surroundings, you may limit your scope of how you expand yourself. But when you expand yourself into your surroundings and try and take the meaning, see the larger picture, the larger meaning that is within your surroundings, you'll be able to start seeing that your surroundings really signify bigger things. This is how you want to have the energy, what it said, how you go about it, interact in your social situations or whatever it is, your comfortability, how you travel, how you move. Try and see the larger perspective of what these things are dealing with. You may even benefit from writing. This may help you broaden your perspective and deliver more understanding this Sag season. Set your intentions for what you want with writing. Or speaking and having conversations. Dive into the conversations about spirituality. Dive into the conversations and trying to bring words. Try to communicate where your faith is being directed. And you'll see that you'll be able to manifest all new different types of surroundings and all new different mindset. A mindset that is more optimistic. A mindset that is broader, more expansive than what you were raised up under. So this is what you should be setting intentions for, and to really expanding your mindset, expanding the meaning in your surroundings, to add to your overall wisdom and experience, and not to try to use that energy into making little things into big things that aren't serving you. Everything can have a meaning, but if its meaning doesn't give you purpose, then the meaning doesn't mean anything. There has to be purpose attached to it, and that should be your focal point when setting intention for this new moon. And that's the third house. Looking at the fourth house, how do you think this will hit them?
So you're gonna be planting new seed when it comes to you're gonna have a new ways of feeling emotionally about basically spirituality and God comes to home, family, domestic issues, and this is gonna teach you guys how you guys go broader understanding about family, home, and privacy, and really bring a higher understanding to these things of that nature, and not make them so private. And when you guys bring the higher understanding of God, spirituality, Sagittarius, it could accelerate and make these things that you guys keep private strength, which is kind of funny since in biology, the more you kind of it's cancer, it's your immune lymphatic system, but the more experience it goes through, the stronger it becomes. So you gotta think about it this way. So the more experiences that basically the new moon is gonna allow you, you're gonna plant new seed there. If you develop more understanding about God's spirituality, you're gonna strengthen that area, and that area is gonna be the launching pad and prepare you for basically your 10th house, your career, and things of that nature, your business, your status, and be able to communicate with these things on a small detailed level, and be very communicative and practical with your level of skill.
And having that as your career, for sure. For sure. Even look at those type of alignments. Imagine if your home, you traveled a lot, and where you stayed, your home always switched. I bet you would have a lot to write about. A lot of things that people would hear. You'll be able to contextualize things into words because of your dispersed out experience. And if you have this new moon going in there, maybe you're going into a new place, a new home, a new level of comfort, new friends, or new relationship where you guys are starting to get close. Maybe before you were acquaintances, but now you're starting to develop a closer relationship. And this could be giving you more knowledge and wisdom and understanding of your comfort level and what makes you feel secure. But this is what we're trying to expand. With Cancer energy, you can get so stuck in trying to feel secure, trying to feel comfortable, looking for stability in some degree. That's what the moon wants. But there's so much more. Or maybe you think that you're stuck with with what's there, but there's so much more that can be there. There's so much meaning to be extract from your home life, from your home situations. A lot of people think they have to leave home to learn. The higher learning starts at home. So really set that intention this new moon. There could be a lot of wisdom and knowledge that you can gain. Maybe your mom or your grandma's or somebody's perspective at home on spirituality and religion that you never really took in, but now you're realizing, oh shit, they have game. Maybe they're flunked out on this area of it, but this aspect is really practical, or this aspect is really, mind broadening, or whatever it is, Don't feel limited in your comforts or try to only expand the same comforts you always had. The possibilities, the perspective of what can make you feel comfortable, of where feels like home, what feels like home, can really expand, and you can start feeling comfortable in places that were foreign to you before, that were new to you before, and now you're starting to develop familiarity on these places, and that can add to your wisdom and knowledge. So really set your intentions to experience this with that. Otherwise, you can really inflate the wisdom and knowledge you've gained from being comfortable from your home, and overinflate that as if it's all encompassing knowledge, when there's really more for you to learn. That's Sag season. You're gonna realize that Sag shows people that it's like, oh my god, there's all this information, oh my god, this is amazing. Oh wait, there's more. Oh wait, there's more. Oh wait, there's more. Oh wait, that's what Sag is like, because you can forever expand yourself. But yeah, really set your intention for seeing the new ways you can find comfort, the new wisdom and knowledge you can gain from home, and really feel more free at home, or free in your ability to obtain comfort. So that's the fourth house. What about the fifth house having this new moon?
So you're gonna feel a new way about spirituality and God when it comes to how you guys approach your creativity, self-expression, drama, joy, children, even romance and things of that nature. But that could be very dangerous, because that could inflate a lot of your self-expression there's there, which could be good to extract more knowledge and wisdom, but it could be bad because it could add more fire to the fire that's already there, so it could destroy things. So this could be a person who could overdo things to the point of destruction, causing like extreme drama and things of that nature, which fits the fifth house perfectly. And things of that nature, which is gonna be bad, since they're gonna lead into a bad full moon in the 11th house, where people are gonna be talking about you in your area of friend, associate groups,
Oh yeah,
friends, and things of that nature. So
niggas
definitely
get together to conspire against you or some shit like that.
Definitely watch out for that. But definitely that could be like a great period of time to plant seed on learning how you can approach your creativity from a broader way, from a smarter way, from an intelligent way, not from an intense Leo way where you try to grab everybody's attention, but you try to grab everybody's attention for a higher understanding, for a higher reason and purpose.
Exactly. And this can really loosen up your fifth house area, because whatever gives you fun, whatever you're getting entertainment from, whatever you feel you can creatively express yourself in. A lot of times you can get so fixated on the certain aspects in that area of life that you forget that different things can give you the same feeling and emotion, that same emotional outlet. And Sag can really show you that this is a broad concept, that there's multiple different ways, multiple different perspectives that you can creatively express yourself in, that you can find entertainment and fun and enjoyment, or express, that childlike nature with yourself or and with other people. So the different ways you can give love and attention. A lot of times we get fixated on certain ways we can give love and attention, but it's so broad, or fixated on certain ways of looking at spirituality. So really allow this new moon to broaden the perspectives of how spirituality can play a role in the fun entertainment in your life. You can incorporate a spiritual understanding, or more of just a broader understanding of the world and in life, into how you creatively express yourself. And so you don't feel as fixated, as boxed in. And just like what Harith was saying, this can go crazy both ways. So this is a lot of energy. So take extra credence to set the intention to utilize this fire energy. You may feel very fired up to on an emotional level, but where should that emotion go? Really set the intention to really broaden and bring more wisdom and knowledge. So when you're having fun, when you're entertaining yourself, you're actually learning. You're actually, it's funny, I have Sag in my fifth house, my Sag moon in my fifth house, and it's funny, that's what I do for fun. I watch lectures, it's like I learn for fun, and that's what it could be, and that's a positive thing. Or I could be reckless and fuck shit up for fun. That's fun. I like that shit too. But it's better for me to watch the lectures and express it in that aspect. So setting more attention to bring more of that into your life. What about people who have this in the sixth house?
So you're gonna have a new way of feeling about your God, spirituality, and basically you're gonna learn how to add this broad understanding based upon understanding what transformation that you guys had to go through in your fifth house. So you guys had to learn how to detox everything that is not serving you guys well comes to the area of expression, creativity, which lead it to the sixth house, the area of work, routines, and habits. Now, based upon that transformation, that's gonna allow you guys to see how you guys could develop a broader understanding on your work routines and patterns, and learn how to maybe free up your routines and patterns, not make them so strict and tight, and maybe figure out new ways of approaching them, or learn how to put more faith in your work ethics and things of that nature. But that depends on which sides you fall on. But it's gonna be quite interesting, mixing mutable fire with mutable earth, which is gonna be quite chaotic in nature, since Sagittarius naturally squares Virgo. So it's like that micro understanding versus that macro understanding. So it's almost like this new moon is wanting you to plant new seeds when it comes to having a broader understanding to this micro world and things of that nature.
Absolutely. Sag is like being the philosopher, or like going out and seeking wisdom. A lot of it, yeah, it's about being wise too, but it's more so about gaining the experience, gaining the wisdom. And Virgo already wants may not see the practicality of going to go and talk to more people. But going to go and talk to more people would give breed to this situation, which gave breed to this situation, which then led to the practicality. But Virgo in its day-to-day perspective, really trying to make use out of its time and being more rigid in that sense, more or delved into the details, especially since its ruling planet is Mercury. We know Mercury and Sag don't blend the same because of that narrowed view. It may be really hard for those energies to balance. But just like Harith was saying, it's kind of like adding a wider lens to your already narrow lens, or to a narrow lens, or adding more flexibility to your schedule. Maybe you want to be of service, or you want to work, or something, you want some type of practicality to work out. But sometimes adding more flexibility, adding a little bit more freedom actually leads to more efficiency, actually leads to more meaning and purpose being driven into what you're doing on a day-to-day, instead of it just being routine, instead of it just being pattern, you going through the motions and it being dry and all cerebral, and you getting worried and stuff like that. Really add meaning and purpose to things. So even though you may not like working, or you may not like giving your time and energy to certain things, once you have that broad perspective of what it can be, you can really have an optimistic view of work, of being of service, and really have a better, everybody goes to work bitter or whatever it is. You can see the big picture. It's like, oh, I'm only doing this so I can do this, or I'm only doing that. You can see the big picture. So really set the intention for that, so that you can have more meaning and purpose to your work, to your daily routines and patterns, to your daily habits. And now your day-to-day life has meaning and purpose to it, even though it's work and you may not want to do it and all of that. But when you do it and you get over that hump, you feel revitalized. Even though you did something and it took up all of your time, you feel somehow freer. You know, you could really have that potential. If you set your intentions in the right areas, this new moon. So yeah, that's the sixth house. How do you think this is going on for people who have this in the seventh house?
So you have a new feeling and emotion about God and spiritual comes to you, the way you guys approach your relationship, marriages, contract, business partners, and basically seven house things dealing with initiation, relationships that could prepare you for the 10th house, aka your business, your status, and things of that nature. But right now, since you guys are planting the new moon, we're having the new moon Sagittarius. This wants you guys to plant broader understanding of why you guys have certain relationship and why you guys should initiate certain relationship and why you guys should avoid certain not. Sagittarius give you the broader, wiser understanding instead of that Venus chasing after Venus when it comes to communication and getting lost and they just want to connect in that aspect comes to the seventh house type of relationship and those experiences you're gonna go through definitely is gonna make you more wiser when it comes to your relationship and that's gonna lead all the way to the obviously the full moon which is gonna happen to your first house and it's gonna make you really learn about who you are but that all begins with what type of seed you're gonna plant on how you're gonna approach your relationship really uh taking a taking faith and it's an optimism and learn how to take control instead of getting swayed and pushed around which is gonna be quite a lot which is quite easy in relationships.
Absolutely. Especially with those alignments, you may be an idealist, you know, really optimistic towards relationships and stuff like that. And you're going through a lot of partnerships that you have to learn the hard way that you spread your energy a little bit too thin. Maybe you broaden your social and life a little bit too broad and you can't keep up with all the relationships or you diminish the meaning in your relationships by, you know, maybe trying to give too much or trying to fit in for things a little bit too much. There's a real opportunity for you to have meaningful relationships when you go about expanding them based off of your past experiences and based off of adding meaning and purpose. Add meaning and purpose to your relationships. Don't just go into relationships and partnerships for the willy-nilly to have a higher workload or lesser workload or because it seems nice or it's just presenting itself pleasantly. Make sure that there is real, heart-driven meaning and purpose behind that based off of all the experiences that you had. And then you'll realize that your relationships are a wealth of information, are a wealth of knowledge. That your relationships, whenever you need a new perspective, you can go to your relationships and partnerships, or you'll have someone in your life, a partner to some degree, a friend or a lover or whatever it is, that helps you have a broad perspective of the world, that helps you work things out and extract meaning and wisdom and knowledge from things. So there's a real opportunity for you to gain these things if you don't have them in your life, or to really expand into these things, to expand your relationships, you know, to really delve into another level into your relationships. You didn't realize you guys can connect onto these levels. But if you keep on spreading yourself too thin onto that relationship level and keep on being optimistic, oh, this is going to work out, oh, this is going to work out, or this is going to work out, without using your past experiences and knowledge into place, without first putting meaning and reasoning to why it should work out into the first place, then you'll just end up feeling exposed, or like no relationship is really that secure, especially with Sag in the seventh house. This could be, you know, like a fair type energy, or not being able to hold down a relationship, even being scared of commitment to a level of degree. But if you wouldn't be as scared of commitment if the meaning and reasoning and purpose to it was leading to your highest potential and the highest. So don't get rid of the ideation in relationships. Just be a little bit more smart and wiser about it. Then you'll realize that your relationships can be way more fulfilling, especially with this new moon. So this is where you should be placing your intention coming this new moon. So that's the seventh house. Looking at the eighth house, how do you think this will hit them?
So you guys have a new way of feeling and broader your understanding about eighth house, aka your power and control issue, money, other people money, possessions, sex, occult, mysticism, and this is the eighth house. This is deep and dark, and really having the new moon Sagittarius. This is like having a new way of feeling that could free you up from this vulnerability that could be holding you back and weighing you
Oh
down
yeah.
from really moving forward when it comes to your life or birthing a new having Sagittarius here in Scorpio could be really rebirth from the darkness type of energy and adding this heavy sense of optimism which is going to be needed. And you're going to have Mercury, Venus here too, and the sun's going to go through here, so it's going to be maybe really needed to get through this eighth house type of journey.
Absolutely. I feel like Sag, maybe I'm biased because I'm a Scorpio and a Sag, but Scorpio and Sag go together really nice in terms of like Scorpio a lot of times maybe needs another water sign, but the other fire signs are like they're a little bit too rough for Scorpio or they don't work with Scorpio. Sag, it being mutable fire. It's not the spark that gets the fire going. It's not the sustained fire. It's the like the warmth that you feel emanating from the fire. So because it's not the direct fire, it works with Scorpio's ice a little bit better. It's like, okay, fine, I'll loosen up some of my emotions, but you're doing it at a slower rate where you're not forcing me as much. So I have the time, or this is ideal conditions for me to unpack a little bit more, for me to be a little bit more vulnerable. It's like having a negative Nelly and an optimist together. And it's like every negative thought that you have, this person will have an optimistic thought, and it kind of helps negate. Now it's net neutrality, you know. Now, and you realize that okay, fine, it can play both ways. Sag helps you see that it's like okay, fine, it could be better, or it could have a higher degree. So just like Harith was saying, there's a real chance for you to really loosen up and feel free from your vulnerabilities, your insecurities, and the trauma from your past. Or you can place more meaning into them, and or expand those vulnerabilities and make them way more vulnerable depending on where and how you're placing your meaning and faith. So really set the intention to feel free from your vulnerabilities, free from your expressions by attaining meaning that allows you to check wisdom and knowledge. So whenever you feel vulnerable, whenever you feel insecure, it's a learning experience. If you're not out and you have to use a stinger and kill every nigga, it's like you want more vulnerability, or you're open to it because you know you're going to learn from it. You know it's going to help you, and all the struggles that you went through in your life only serve to add more wisdom. So in that perspective, you could be optimistic about life struggles and stuff like that if you set the right intentions for this new moon. So that's how it'll be in the 8th house. In the 9th house, how do you think they'll be going through this?
So you'll have a new way of feeling about broadening your understanding when it comes to your ninth house things, your philosophy, wisdom. This is already with spirituality. You guys are gonna maybe trying to plant new seeds to figure out a better ways of approaching these things and things of that nature.
Absolutely. It's kind of like just doubling down on that Sag energy where
Yeah, there's not much to say. It's just gonna be. It's almost like a Sag over preaching.
hell yeah.
That's
Which
like-
may not be bad. Which may not be bad depending on your surroundings and how you do it. But yeah, you may get on that soapbox, grab your Bible, and start kicking that word of God to people. And it may take, if you have the experience and you actually experience the things that you did. Not going to talk about Peter and Paul and the visions that had happened to them, but you go and kick spirituality in your own personal experience, you'll start saying, wow, I can relate to so much people. So much people had the same experience. I can go and connect with you. Oh, wow, we have the same perspective on this. Oh, wow. It's Jordan. But when you're trying to relate with motherfuckers on Peter and Paul and Moses and the visions that they had and stuff like that, now it's like you go on out. This person has this interpretation of it. This person has this interpretation. Now y'all niggas out in the galactic center being pulled in by the black hole, basically. Hands down. But there's a real potential for expansion. There's a real potential for spiritual understanding and awakening. I recommend that you spend that New moon, meditating. You spend that new moon at least fixating your mind on spirituality, adding more visualizations, adding more meaning to the experiences that you have went through and the knowledge that you have, and giving credence to that, and meaning to that, and really using that to shape on your new experiences. Really be experience oriented on that instead of expanding the meaning of your past experiences. Allow that meaning and that knowledge to show you the horizons that you can go. And remember when I was talking about with Sag, there's another mountain. There's another mountain after that mountain climbed. Moses went to Mount Sinai, but for some reason Jesus had to go back to Mount Sinai, and I swear Buddha had to go to a mountain. I swear Siddhartha or what's his name, Krishna had to go to a mountain. Everybody has to go to the mountain, but it's a mountain range, if you get what I mean. You can fall from those high states. So not getting stuck on that high state, that one thing, now you're preventing of what you can actually be because you're trying to hold on to the wisdom and knowledge you had gained. There's more wisdom and knowledge, and you're maybe scared of being new or fresh or like a freshman again. But you're always a freshman. You're always going to be a child of God, and you're always going to be learning. So really embrace that, and set your intention for this new moon for the wide horizons that you can expand into, and not trying to limit yourself to what you have already been through. So yeah, that's the 9th house. Looking at the 10th house, how do you think this will hit them?
So you guys have a new way of feeling about broadening your understanding about God and spirituality. It comes to you guys, your business, your status, and learn how to give meaning and reasoning to these hardcore practical things that could be very dry, making you very tired, especially because this is Capricorn energy. When we carry our skeleton system is the heaviest thing we carry, so that takes a lot of energy. So you can think about a Capricorn who's putting all his energy into his business status, getting structure for him, his life, how hard for him to carry that on himself. So having this new moon in Sagittarius will really allow you guys to add meaning and reasoning to certain things you guys do when it comes to your business status, and the way you get seen by the world, that you guys maybe could change your moral system about it, and that's gonna loosen up this stiff structure armor that you guys made for you guys self and things of that nature, and really bring more like God approach towards your money, and learn how to not be so Saturn like, which can make things very dark for Capricorn. The moon's already debilitated there, and this is already the beginning of winter, and then this is Saturn rules there, and then bro, it's too much stress for Capricorn.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because the moon doesn't like being in Capricorn 10th house type area, but it's going with Sag right now. So it's kind of like Sag is holding the moon's hand, and the moon's like, I don't know, we're going in there. Sag's like, it's all right, we could go, it's all right. And then the 10th house is going to try to constrict your emotions, but as long as you have the meaning and reasoning and the openness to new emotions, the openness to experience new things that can add to your wisdom and knowledge, now you'll find that you'll have more experience. Maybe it's even in a business realm where you have wisdom and experience in a certain avenue of business that allows you to be a little bit more flexible on that business realm, or you have more wisdom on how to deal with reputation, on how to deal with how you present yourself to the public in general in a more expansive way. You don't have to be this one title. You can be multiple different titles, but it can also play out where you seem too expansive. Your emotions are all over the place, and we can't trust you to be stable or to build a structure or to maintain or to hold up your responsibilities. So you don't want to go too far with Sag holding the moon's hand going through these, but it can really allow a little bit more room for your construction, for your, you're so constricted with the emotions, or could be with the moon going through your 10th house, but that reminds you, it's like you got to expand a little bit more to include these things, to include the things that really matter, to include your whole experiences, not just the reputation you want to have, not just the job that you want to have, but the accumulation of all of it. So say you're a basketball player, but you have experience playing soccer, incorporating your soccer skills into basketball, or whatever it is. If you're in marketing and now you're doing construction, incorporating your marketing ideals to construction. And there's ways, and the moon and Sagittarius will help you do that. So set your attentions into that way, and you'll realize that your responsibilities don't have to be so rigid, that your reputation doesn't have to be so rigid, that your how you obtain structure doesn't have to be so rigid. It could actually be a little bit more mutable in terms of how you feel about it. So really set the intentions for that with this new moon.
Like this reminds me in the Bible how they don't want us just a king, but they want a priestly king. So like I think this fits this theme. Yeah,
Absolutely.
King. Yeah.
Absolutely, a spiritual king. Absolutely, and which could get bad, aka it flips in. I'm the messenger of God, and everything's has to come through me and stuff like that. Or it can be like, wow, we all know what righteousness is, and because he's a priest king, once he's not being righteous, we see it. There's no logic in rhetoric or whatever it is. If you don't represent these virtues, we won't see it. So definitely you could be a priestly king, or what's a bad let me see, like a over religious tyrant.
Oh, like a Pharisee.
Or a Pharisee. You goddamn right. You can be head of the building of the Temple of Jerusalem, or you can be the head of
perfectly.
the Crusades or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So that is the 10th house. Looking at the 11th house, how do you think this is going to hit them?
So you guys have a new way of feeling about broadening your understanding about God's spirituality, and learning how to add that when it comes to the area of your friends group, the people you guys associate with, to rebel against what's old and outdated. When the new moon Sagittarius here, he's gonna add like a new spiritual way to fight against all of the rigid, aggressive nature of Uranus and things of that nature, and learn how to do things on a much more spiritual point of view. It doesn't have to be always aggressive and nerve-wracking and things of that nature, which is very the electrical nature, but make it much more Jupiterian and down to earth, something that everybody could accept, something that inspires everybody, that does not scares everybody. It doesn't look like a revolution essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It can so get into stuff like that where you gather with people based off of similar faith, similar belief, which can really jump you off a cliff, or similar experiences. Imagine people getting together because they had similar trauma, but without fully healing that trauma. Say they did have a good Scorpio season leading up to it, without fully healing that trauma. You're just gonna double down on the motherfucking trauma. Yeah, and y'all will feel comfortable because y'all have the same experience. Y'all can talk about the same trauma, and y'all get lost into that, sharing the ideas and all of that. All the while, and you guys talking and connect based off the trauma. Now you put meaning and reasoning to the trauma that you had went through, and now you guys are exulting and rebelling against other people based off of trauma, based off of negative aspects through your experiences. And while you may feel a sense of community, that sense of community isn't building you up to be a better person. It's not building you up to expand beyond your experiences. It's keeping you stuck on the level that you have already experienced. So don't let that happen. Try and gather information and gather in groups based upon your higher wisdom, your higher self, your higher spirituality, the experiences that you want to go through, the wisdom and knowledge that you have gained from your past experience, and how you take that into the future. This energy, Sag and Aquarius, is very forward moving. That's the bow. And then Aquarius, you could say it's the water bearer, so it's throwing water on the floor, but it's winter time. So I don't know if niggas ever did that. When you throw water on the ground and you go and run and slide on it or some shit like that. Aquarius is like throwing the water on the ground so niggas can go and slide into a new future, can go and slide into a new something more progressive. And then you're shooting the bow while sliding on the water. So shit could go fast. She could go really fast, and you accumulate a bunch of relationships or accumulate a bunch of knowledge, but does it serve you? Is it keeping you contained into your past experiences, or is it you utilizing the wisdom gained from those experiences and showing you a new horizon? Set your intention for the new horizon. You'll find that you have a tribe that you can really relate to. Instead of based off of trauma, it's based off of similar expansion, similar ideals, and you guys can all expand together instead of being stuck together.
But definitely watch out. There's a lot of energy. Uranus is there, and then Saturn, and then Jupiter. There's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of energy. Very forward moving. Things will move very quick if you have this alignment going on. So which direction do you want it to go? You really have to set your intention for that. So that's the 9th house. Looking at the 12th house, how do you think this will hit us?
So you guys have a new way of feeling about spirituality and God and develop. And I guess he's gonna learn how to basically go learn how to express your subconscious mind and learn how to bring it more into existence and not make it so seclusive. Like Spicy and Sagittarius, they do the same thing. It's just that Sagittarius is the masculine side of Pisces, and then Pisces is the feminine side of Sagittarius, and things of that nature. So this type of energy, it could be the energy where you're planting new seed or figuring out how can I go about broadening my way of expressing these things that are so seclusive within the feminine side of Sagittarius, my subconscious mind. I learn how to give that. I learn basically how to express the proper things and learn how to give certain meaning and reason certain things and leave certain things. Basically, this is you really diving deep to your subconscious and learning how to be wise with it. This is someone learning how to learn about himself, basically.
Well, yeah, learning how to be wise about your subconscious, absolutely, because they're dual aspects. Sag is you literally going through experiences that are going to fill your subconscious, aka Pisces. So if you're not in control of the experiences and where you're expanding your faith and where you're going to expand your experience into, if you're doing some nonsense, guess what's going to accumulate in your subconscious? The same amount of nonsense. So you're right. This is really maybe jumping into experiences because of what influences you want to have on yourself, or you want to imprint certain wisdom on a subconscious level. So, and this may be subtle energy, and you may not know that you're doing it because we're talking about the 12th house. So if you have this in your 12th house, you have to step into the driver's seat of that and know that what you're expanding into is going to build up in your subconscious. So to make sure that it's based off of wisdom, make sure that it's based off of meaning and reasoning that you have accumulated based off of your own life. And then you will be able to develop more understanding on your subconscious mind. You'll be able to see things hand in hand. You went through this experience, and now you can see how this is subconsciously affecting you at the same time, kind of simultaneously, and it give you more, just like we're here at the same, more in-depth way of learning about yourself, learning about how you're influenced by the world, and really using that to determine what you should expand into. So maybe subtle energy, or maybe very thin energy, but overwhelming at the same time. Where it's a subtle thing that persists, if you get what I mean. That's kind of how Pisces is.
I agree with you. It's subtle, but it's still effective.
It's subtle, but it's all encompassing. It's all around. It's all around you. So you got to be extra careful. You got to be extra careful, because whatever intentions you set is really going to affect you on a subconscious level. So you want to bring more consciousness to this area. So you may have to deal with some things that you may not be willing to deal with. But buckle up, sweetheart. You know, you never know what's gonna fucking happen. And you want to be prepared for those experiences. Otherwise, when we're talking about 12th house, other things are gonna control you and drag you and influence you on different levels. So you really have to be there in the driving seat and determine where your subconscious is traveling.
Because it's double mutable sign, so it's like really forcing you to be there, to be aware, as you like deciding what to see through your own subconscious and things of that nature. So definitely gonna be interesting. Actually, that's actually interesting. Actually, I want to
really have to choose
this.
the flow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is you, ain't it? That's jokes. But yeah, that's the new moon through the houses. I hope you guys liked the video. Remember to really set your intention to remember not get lost into your past experiences, but to use them as your launching pad for the future. For sure. Um, yeah. So thanks for watching. Check out our Instagram, TrueSpace_. Check out our website, TrueSpace.biz. Give us a like and subscribe. Give us a comment. Talk to us. Let us know what you want to hear, or whatever it is. We're open to the conversation, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Take care, guys.
Peace.